I'm Erin Howard, and my dad's the Undertaker. What I can remember, my dad's always had a motorcycle. He's had about 4 before he got the motorcycle hearse. I remember him picking me up from preschool and all the kids running to the window and him strapping a pillow to the gas tank because I couldn't stay awake on the back.
I remember my first motorcycle when I was only 15 years old. What a treat that was. Had to share it with my older brother, but it was still a lot of fun. I remember taking that thing out and getting it stuck at Roosevelt Park. The bike wouldn't start, and then all of a sudden, here come the mosquitoes. Well, people say they didn't have cell phones back then, but I beg to differ because them mosquitoes had some cell phones and they called everybody in the neighborhood. And I couldn't believe 10,000 of them, and this bike just cha-cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. It's just not firing. And I couldn't outrun them mosquitoes pushing that motorcycle. Boy, I thought real hard about leaving it. But we just grabbed it up and run it up the hill and got the hell out of there. And tried to make sure I never put myself in that position again, because boy, I'll tell you, them mosquitoes was something.
I think probably the way he grew up, being the youngest of 6, and just knowing what it's like to be without. So he likes to give what he can. He always said that if you don't have anything to give, you always have your time.
I was born in 1958 in a small town, Durand, Michigan. We lived on a farm back then. I didn't realize we were so poor back then because everybody was poor. I remember one light bulb in the upstairs hallway, and that was what I remember of the electricity in the upstairs. No plumbing. We were potty trained in an outhouse. I do remember that. It was 3 holes. When I was about 4 years old, we moved to Owasso, Michigan. That was the first time I saw a flushing toilet. It was really something. And back then in the grade school, you didn't even know you were poor because everybody in the neighborhood was in the same boat. We played football out back. We didn't have the video games. Sometimes it was pretty tough, but most of the time it's happy memories. I think if you do a little bit of stint in poverty, it builds character. In the 5th grade, my parents joined the Mormon church. More my mother, and dragged us kids off. But there's where I met one of my best longtime friends. He had a swimming pool. His dad was a doctor. And that's when I realized this is where I need to be. Drugs were pretty rampant in the middle 70s, even in high school. So we had our stint with that, which led to me taking another friend's life in a car accident. And that's something we live with. And that led to a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. But there again, that's something nobody should have to go through, but it's something that's a cross that I have to bear, and we continue to bear it regularly. But that was 29 years ago, so that was a long time ago. But it still stings. Something that I live with, something that I go through on a regular basis. But then life got better. We slowed down, got married a beautiful lady.
Hi, my name is Susan Howard, and I'm Jay's wife. We met on St. Patrick's Day, 1984. He had come back from Key West, and his mother, who had adult foster care homes, sent him down to pick up some prescriptions for her. And he just walked in and asked me out. He said he knew right then that I was the girl for him, and he asked me to marry him.
You know, they say a man marries his own mother, and by golly, I never heard my mother use a cuss word. She was always there for the kids. Such a soft lady. and so is my wife. She's very nice. She's my rock. She keeps me solid. And that's how we get by, because there's rock solid here at my house, out here in the man cave. This is where we think, and sometimes it's not always good, but we still think.
One of the things that I liked about Jay was his sense of humor, and I liked the way he dressed. He really dressed spiffy, and he had a really tender heart. I think that Jay will be remembered as the Undertaker and for all the unselfish things that he has done for people.
Hi, I'm Ray with Crow's Motorcycle Company, Battle Creek, Michigan. What I like about AJ, the Undertaker, I have known him since back in the mid-2000s. We got to do a lot of events together. Got to know him as a man and his cause, and each ride being the last ride and understanding what he goes through each time he does this. The heart that that man has is amazing. He is a motorcycle enthusiast, and he does the last ride for so many people. I know it takes a big toll on him, but he's tough, and he does a lot of great charities for the kids. Filling the hearse with toys, taking the top hat and filling it with money for donation.
Okay, leaving?
No. Sometimes when I get a phone call, it's a family member, not the funeral director, and they're making the final arrangements for their loved one. Sometimes it's a spouse, sometimes it's a father, but each time you can feel that grief coming right through the phone, and sometimes you feel the strength where it's hard to explain when you can hear a child making arrangements for their father because he was a motorcycle guy. It's a huge amount of pride for me, and it's a huge honor that that family chose me to come and give their loved one their final ride. Getting ready for a service it's a good day and a bad day both. Sometimes we get out of here at early in the morning to be sure we are on time. And as we're getting there, we start to get ourselves into the frame of mind that we know what we're doing and we need to stay on top of our game. We need to give the family something they'll never forget. I was at a service, and after the service was over, I put on a t-shirts and some jeans and a ball cap and went in and had dinner. And the spouse sat right next to me, and he asked me how did I know his wife. And I told him, sir, I was your hearse driver this afternoon. And then he's like, oh, I didn't even recognize you. And then I got to sit down, and at that service, that's what I remember, was that guy who didn't recognize me. He thought I was a stranger at the dinner table, or I knew his wife and he didn't know how. I hope that I have helped the healing process start by giving their loved ones that last ride in a motorcycle.
My name's Fred. I've known him about 10 years, maybe more. I really got to know him in the last 10 years. I see him around town as a friend. I also see him as a businessman. He's a pretty honorable man, real honorable man. People asked me after the funeral if it was a parade. The ones that saw us going through town to the gravesite. No, that's AJ's way of doing his part of the service.
Hi, I'm Fred Pickering, owner of Pickering Automotive Incorporated and Ride It Like You Stole It Customs, also dubbed Freddie Pease. I met The Undertaker in 2010 at Thunder on the Grand. One of the most memorable things that I can remember and personal with The Undertaker was in 2012 when he presented me the Single Spur on behalf of Brady. The Single Spur is given to the primary survivor after the death of an individual. When it comes to our veterans, he's went above and beyond, and I mean that can include pulling the coach in sub-zero weather to pulling them in 95-degree weather. It just doesn't matter to The Undertaker.
My name is Mike Murphy, and I've known AJ for about 10 years. I've rode with him several times, professionally and personally, with his business. He is completely professional in what he does. He gives the best care possible. And the thing that I like about him most is his sincerity. What he does for a reason. He does for a purpose. Today he buried my wife. He took her on a ride that she always wanted as long as I've known her and as long as we dated and as long as we lived together. This is the kind of funeral she had wanted. We were both bikers. Personally, to me, it's kind of like a cause. It's something that he does to help us bikers. A lot of people don't like bikers. We are a community of open road and having fun, so it's kind of personal. And for someone to go out and reach out and give them a burial like this with what he has to offer, you don't see a stagecoach anywhere. It is very unique, and it's just very personal. That's what it means to me the most. It's a personal touch.
I'd like to personally thank the family for allowing me to be here today. This is a very tough service for me. I'm not going to see her anymore. But if I look inside my heart, I know she's there. So that's why today I wear this Single Spur. This is a tradition that dates back many generations to the medieval days of the knighthood, when armor-clad horsemen returning from battle would wear but one spur instead of a pair. They did this as the greatest sign of reverence and respect for the loss of a fallen brother knight. This is significant because it was the man's spurs that signified he was a knight, not his horse, his sword, nor his armor. And no matter what hardships a knight would endure, he would part with anything and everything before he would part with his spurs. This has been handed down and adopted by many groups and organizations throughout the centuries, most notably as our very own U.S. Cavalry. We're only a deserving few are awarded spurs. And these chosen few, they represent and embody everything that is, was, or will be great and noble within the organization. This is a tradition that's been handed down and adopted by many of us in the motorcycle community, most especially myself. I always ride with a spur because that helps me remember those who are no longer next to me, but they still ride with me.
I'm Chris Wallace, and the Undertaker did me a great favor today, taking my mother on her last ride. It was my first and last ride with her, so it meant a lot to me. He's really a motivational speaker. Actually, it's the first time I ever heard of the spur. I received one of them spurs today. I appreciate that. I hold that dearly. And the hearse, my mother, first time she ever seen it, she told me she wanted to be in that.